I know you were, pretty critical of your performance in the cage. A few minutes have passed. Do you feel any differently, or are you
Yeah,
still?
yeah, I feel a lot differently. Um, I'm my own biggest critic, and out there, I was seeing all types of openings, and I just wasn't pulling the trigger on a good 50, 60% of them. I was just going for the real easy ones, like a side kick. That was like so open, and it was out of his punching range. But boxing wise and stuff, something inside of me was like, yo, like don't get caught with a big hand. Play it smart, play it smart. And just way too hesitant in there. Um, so yeah. I don't know. I'm grateful for a lot, but I'm still a little disappointed. Just know there's a much higher level inside of me. I'm not one to just fight last-minute opponents like that. And I switched up to a big old heavy hitting southpaw, and I was so primed for Daniel Cormier. So so I'm not going to be too disappointed because I believe that I'm going to move and groove when I actually face this style that I've been thinking about for 7 months.
After the fight's over, I'm sure you probably saw DC. He was kind of wishing he was in there. Maybe you weren't on your best night. Do you believe it was ring rust, not your best night, or do you believe it was the switch of opponents that made the big difference in what your performance was tonight?
I think it was. I think it was more the switch of opponents. I think it was more of a switch of opponents. Yeah, if you've been following my career, you know how big I am to studying. I'm huge into studying. Me and my team. That's what we do. It's why I'm so confident. It's going into my fights is because I know what I'm getting into. And tonight, Ovens just threw a completely different. It was just a completely different thing than what I had prepared for. So I'm going to say it was more the switch of opponents than ring rust. As far as ring rust, I was attacking and not as much as I had liked, and my cardio was great, no butterflies, no being nervous, walking out, I was loving it, feeling the moment, felt present in the octagon, but just hesitant to attack, and it was ring rust. I'm not ring rust, it was a switch of opponent.
I know you said that you felt disappointed that you kind of missed some openings and things like that, but I am curious, how much of patience and drawing it out was part of the game plan? Because I think some people were thinking maybe you kind of came in wanting to get some time in the cage underneath you, kind of wanting to work some time out.
Right.
So, was there a plan to kind of be patient, not attack right from the beginning?
One thing I noticed about this fight was I had this level of relaxation in there where I was just living in the moment and just enjoying it. It was like, okay, I'm winning every round. Yeah, I'm getting booed for the first time, but I'm still winning. And, Ovens is a heavy hitter. He has this huge knockout power. And I'm like, dude, I can't lose to a guy like Ovens, trying to do too much. So a part of me, this may sound funny, I don't know, a part of me was just like, you got to fight DC, John. You got to fight DC. Do what you got to do to win this fight. The goal is to get back to DC. Whether you look like crap right now or not, the goal is to get back to DC. So I'm not making any excuses, but that was definitely in my psychology. It's just like, all right, do what you got to do to win each round. Finish if you can, but don't miss out on the opportunity to fight DC. Getting in there and haymaking with a guy who has this freakish knockout power, and a guy who gets these knockouts from these really weird and unpredictable angles. So yeah.
And you mentioned the boos. It definitely wasn't obviously your most exciting fight, but how much of that did you put on OSP? Because it did seem like there came a point where it just seemed like he was happy to be in there and surviving with you.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. At one moment, when I was hearing the boos, I realized, I'm chasing this guy. I was chasing him, and he was just circling and backing up. So I was like, all right, maybe these boos aren't for me, But I like to give exciting fights, and I felt as if I put my best foot forward, and you know, obviously I could do more, and I'm hoping that the majority of the boos were for Owens. I think the fans are just used to me doing, you know, giving them real cool, exciting stuff, and they saw a more hesitant version of me versus a guy who was backing up a lot.